Justin Brown, founder and lead investigator of Interface Death, bringing you a tutorial video on the RVPR recorder, EVP recorder. Now, what this is supposed to do is supposed to test a hypothesis that that many investigators have, and the hypothesis is that if spirits are made up of electromagnetic energy or use electromagnetic energy, that you can figure that out by using this device. Now, this is developed by David Roundtree, and I will, instead of showing you everything on how to build this and how to set it up, I'll just link the videos from his website from Mr. Browning who done it for him. He's got very nice YouTube videos to help you set up and build this and set up this device. But what we're going to talk about is the theory, or the hypothesis rather, to help develop the theory. Okay, now this is how it works. Electromagnetic induction is the hypothesis. What that means is an electromagnetic field can manipulate the coils in a dynamic mic, because condenser mics do not have coils. Okay, they have a transducer type plate that, you know, is housed over in an electromagnetic conductive surface that allow pretty much mechanical, you know, transducence energy to modulate a signal to create audio. So the electromagnetic induction theory will work like this. Okay, this recorder will allow you to record stereo sound on the mics and stereo sound on the condenser mics. Now, if you have an EVP that's created using electromagnetic induction, you will only hear it on these mics. Okay, because as I said, these mics have coils, the condenser mics don't. Now, does that mean that you can't get an EVP using only the condenser mics? No, you can get EVPs that only come through on the condenser mics and not the dynamic mics. Now, the actual mechanics of that is not electromagnetic induction. That's a totally different mechanic that I am working on trying to figure out. And when I iron out everything, I'll let you guys know what that hypothesis is. But what's nice about this setup is you can sync both of these stereo tracks together and look to see if there is a voice that comes across just on the dynamic mics. If there is, you can have good evidence that supports electromagnetic induction. Now, if you get a anomalous voice on all of the mics, then that means you pretty much have an environmental voice, which is a disembodied voice. Okay, so that's great. But what's good about this is it's portable. Okay, you can pick it up, move it around. When you pick it up and move this around, you can create noise in the audio, because you just can't get around it. Okay, you're gonna every little fidget you make is going to make a noise in this build. So I recommend, if you do really good research, that you sit it down somewhere. And if you can't, what helps a lot is you get like a foam handle or some kind of foam grip to put on this, so it will eliminate the fidgeting noises that you'll make with your hand. Okay, now when you use this recorder, the cheapest, best quality recorder you can get is a DR40, and there's others, you know, that make good recorders that are set up like this. Zoom makes good ones. Tascam has newer versions of this, and you can use those. But the DR40 is retailed at about $179.99 right now, and that's the best route. The audio quality is awesome. But what we're trying to do is get better data in the field. I mean, a lot of people just use single dictaphones or digital recorders and try to capture EVP that way, and it really doesn't prove scientifically that EVPs exist, how they exist. You want to actually try to develop methods to prove hypothesis. You know, if you're a scientific research group, that's what you want to do, and that's why I want to show you this device. Now, this device has been around for at least 5 years that I know of, maybe even longer. I mean, David Roundtree probably came up with this way before that, but I don't see this used. I watch all the videos I can online. I go to everybody's websites and see how they get EVPs, and they're not using the setup. Why? I don't know. You know, I'm not afraid to use other people's ideas if it makes sense, especially if they have scientific backgrounds. All right, but My theories are a little bit different. You know, I think that spirits can manipulate condenser mics in similar ways as they can mics with coils, but it's just a different mechanic. Now, what that mechanic is, don't know, because electromagnetic energy has to manipulate the device in a certain way to be able to prove something based on scientific principles. Now, they're both a transducent effect, but the induction, a coil is needed for induction. Now, the transducent effect for the condenser mics is going to have to be worked out a little bit. And the reason why I haven't seen anybody work that out yet is because there's no real mechanic to describe it yet. But what might be going on is there's some kind of transfer of energy from the environment to the mics, because what makes a condenser mic work is it takes the vibrations in the air molecules and transfers it into electromagnetic energy. These bars that you see here, you can use standard stereo bar, but what you see I've done is I've went a little bit further and I've got multiple posts to where I can mount things if I want. You can mount multiple devices to this. You can mount more mics to it, different types of mics, bullet mics, different types of other condenser mics. If you want to fool around with different configurations, you can. So if you have the extra couple bucks, I'd recommend you do that. The videos that I'll link from David Roundtree's site doesn't have that, but you don't need it. Now, these adapters are important. They're maybe hard to find if you have a music store, Sam Ash, Guitar Center. Those type of resale stores may have it, but you'll probably end up getting it offline somewhere. These cables that you see hanging here, that's the only flaw in my setup. Since these cables came with the mics, I didn't buy shorter mic cables, but what you want to do to be more practical and more effective is get 1-foot XLR cables. But all you see here are standard dynamic mics. They don't have to be super expensive, but I would recommend something sturdy, like something made out of actual metal. Don't buy plastic cheap things because they're just not going to last long in the field. These dynamic mics cost $39.99 with the cables, so that's a really good price. The DR40 is $179.99. The adapter is about 15 to 18 bucks. The stereo bar is probably 25, 30 bucks. The instrument mic stand is about the same, $25, $30 range. And from about $300 and $400, you can have a really, really good EVP data collecting system. So if you have any questions on this, just get a hold of me. If you can't get a hold of me for some reason, I'm sure David Roundtree would be happy to explain anything about the system to you. And I will see you on the next episode of Tech Talk with Justin Brown. Thank you.